The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
Hey boys, you might notice there's something a little bit different this week. Basically, cut long story longer, drop my laptop, yes, up, put it in the up position.
Okay.
Say hello, Queeve.
Hello, everybody.
So basically, I dropped my laptop, webcam not working, so frantically wiring all over the place. So doing this through Audacity and the unaudio files among ye. There'll be very limited music this week, and you're all probably jumping with joy. But you know, I do like a few tunes in the background, and I might actually add some in post production. But it's been a bit hair and scare him there for the last hour or so. Queeve's bored off his tits. He's not really getting technical stuff, and I'm getting a bit frustrated. And I have to actually, he's gonna send him in there now to have my pot noodle in a minute. I need a bit of blood sugar in me. But yeah, I'm sitting here like you can't see it in the new Throne of Ease.
Pretty impressive.
And would you see I got my I don't do request t-shirts on, and Queeve is going. I think Queeve is going for the Pats thing. I'm just trying to set the visuals so that you're. I know you love looking at our faces. It's not just our dulcet tones that's turning you on so much. So without further ado, less of the waffle. Where do we start? Hello? Yeah, I'm talking. Look, who else is in the room? You. Where do we start?
I don't know. What are you starting with?
Okay, we're going to start with, basically, we'll go through last week's games in the Pine Lodge Fantasy NFL. Sorry, those other listeners. And the hits are starting to pile in on YouTube. So those non-Pine Lodge Leaguers, we apologise. We'll just start quickly with the Pine Lodge League. So basically, the same old story. Pats for score 82 points, and apparently they would have lost to about every other team, maybe apart from one or two in the league.
Do what's necessary. That's my motto.
It's just, I'm sorry, lads, I keep saying the same bloody thing every week in, week out, but Queeve is so like Belichick. Just do enough to get the W and moving on to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Moving on to Cincinnati, the famous saying from last year. And boy, did they move on. They haven't stopped moving since. So yeah, he takes down Polly's pushovers 82-74. Pat's 4 goes to 4-0. The only guy on 4-0.
I think the less said about this particular matchup, the better. It was pretty low scoring affair. And yeah,
Polly picked up your man Jones from Washington. He had a stinker.
Cincinnati.
So,
He's a Cincinnati player.
No, he was
not Washington.
He was Washington. Trust me.
All right.
The two running backs for Cincinnati are Jones and...
No, Jones is the wide receiver for Cincinnati.
Okay, all right. I stand corrected. Jones.
You're thinking of the running back that someone else picked up that did fuck all
okay.
a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Moving on. Polly's 1-3. On to the next set of matches. Champagne Fever setting a nice little tone there. Moves on to 3-1. Nasib Erection, who started with a bullet. He's got to snap this losing streak. He's just lost his last two. He's on 2-0. Okay, he was missing Brady, his golden boy in the first few weeks. 70 points, not good enough for you to win a match. Going to be interesting next week. So on to the next game. Fox's Army broke his duck. Hail to the Fox. I've got an interesting trade proposition for you, Fox. So check your inbox and get back to me. Basically, look, you're living in Cincinnati. I think you need a Cincinnati player on your books, and I'm willing to take one or two other guys off your books. Say no more. Decky's probably, been on to you already about DeMarco Murray.
He has the Bengals D.
Yeah, but he needs a bit more. He needs a bit of tiger in him, So Fox, and he broke his duck, and he beat. Who did he beat? This is just indicative of the whole NFL thing last week.
Yeah.
The 0-3 Fox's Army beats the 3-0 Bucking Pats.
destroys them.
Destroyed him. 64. Carlos Hyde did nothing. Matt Ryan had a great game, but just he didn't rack up that many fantasy points. He was shifting the ball onto Devonta Freeman, who we get onto in another one. So anyway, Fox wins 103-64. Moving on to the other guy that was no for LJ Lucky Jimmy breaks his duck. This is basically Todd Gurley's breakout game. So the top drafted running back from last year really showed his mettle is it the second? Did he have 100 running yards in the second half, or was it the first half? Anyway, he basically did very well. LJ also picked up Jeremy Hill. I think Fox dropped him. Like, you draft a guy in the first round or definitely the second round, and next thing he's on the scrap heap. Lucky Jimmy says thanks very much. He picked up 3 touchdowns, I think, was it? 2 or 3 touchdowns?
3 touchdowns, 24 points. Pretty impressive.
Huge. So Dirty, I suppose Decky lost. He's got the 2-2, but at least his Jets won. They steamrolled the Dolphins. Joe Philbin, R.I.P. Apparently Brendan Rodgers is in the frame for the Miami job. Another little dig there at Queevster.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I think he could be the man. So moving on, as we say, to, well, what can I say? My own team. Every cloud has a silver lining, that's what they say, isn't it? So I was well pissed off. Andrew Luck was due to play against the Jaguars. I made a late substitution, but lucky enough, I had the foresight to draft a very good second QB in Philip Rivers, and he had a monster. He had his breakout game of the season, 26 points. And of course, I also picked up Prater. Was just breaking my heart the last few weeks. So I went, who's a good kicker around there? So Canton Nazar, or whatever his name is, Cardinals.
18 points.
18 points. Thank you very much. Steamroll Duffers, who falls to 1-3. No doubt kicking computers and such like to beat the band. But anyway, Duffers also lost his stones. Well, actually, I don't know how much money he lost. I thought it was a dodgy enough bet with the Chiefs, with the KC against the Bengals. And I kind of backhandedly said bad bet, but I didn't, I said ballsy.
It's a bit Captain Hindsighty of us, but
no, I wasn't Captain Hindsight at all. I kind of said it straight, like,
Yeah, I didn't particularly fancy it either, but
yeah. So the Chiefs
easy to say no.
Chiefs are just going from bad to worse. Well, they're still they've got all the pieces. They just don't seem to be able to put the pieces together.
They've had tough schedule as well.
Yeah, and I heard somebody said Alex Smith, the game manager, he threw for something like 370 yards.
Yeah.
No touchdowns.
No.
Seven
about 10-15 yard passes.
All kicks, wasn't it? 7 kicks, I think.
Yeah, 21 points. 7.
So and as I said, Jeremy Hill had a massive game. I think AJ Green tied in with a couple of touchdowns there as well, did he? All
right, moving on. Talking about your own victory a bit too much for my liking, but
okay, yeah. Point Lodgers
last matchup.
Auto draft kicked Chopper's butt big time. So basically next year, Devonta Freeman he put him into the lineup. Had a huge game, and the aforementioned Andy Dalton as well. And he's got the Gronk coming back off a bye this week. So Patrick goes to 3-1. Choppers is a 1-3. So that was it. So the league is taking shape. What do we just do the matchups for a week?
Just go for matchups for this week.
All right, just do matchups quickly. Just running through. Just before we say anything, the injury front. There's Dallas are decimated, but apparently Des Bryant is coming back. I'd actually
sooner than expected.
But like they're being kicked from pillar to post big time. On bye this week, Tunas and the Jets, who obviously played in England. So when you play the international series in Wembley, you get the week afterwards. And the Vikings are on bye, and the Panthers are on bye. So I'm not going to say anything to any individual players, but it's up to yourself to change your lineup. Okay. Okay, so the first game up got up here, and I'm going to try and get it right this time. It was like basically last week.
I was playing everybody.
Playing everybody. We were just, look, it's... my head was melted. But anyway, Pats for Lombardi, we usually do it off Queeve's tablet. So he's scheduled to score 84 points.
Yeah.
And point lodgers, Patrick's flying on 108. Hopefully, for the sake of the league, that's the way it ends up. Moving on. Bucking Pats. First loss last week, and they're up against Duffers, and they're scheduled to have a loss again. So Duffers needs a win. He's on 1-3. And we'll just move on quickly to the next game. Choppers. Chops had a very bad start so far, 1-3. He managed to turn me over, right? The nice person that he is. And he is up against
Polly.
Big
game for both.
So both boys are 1-3, and you know they're steering into the abyss. They could be in the bottom half of the bracket there for the championship later on. Okay, moving on to game 4 schedule. Myself, 4 floors of whores, down for 109 points against Decky. Decky's 84. He's got a lot of guys on bye this week, so see who he comes up with, who he can trade. Decky, if you're trying to get rid of Murray, put a bit of a sweetener in there, make it a bit easier to swallow. And less said about that, the better. So the next game, Nasib Erection. As I said, he's got a two-game losing streak now after starting like a house on fire, and he's up against Fox's Army, and Fox is scheduled to put another W in the column. So we'll see. That's 104 to Nasib, 120 to Fox. We'll see how that turns out, because as we know, lads, these projections don't mean jack shit. It's just a bit of fun at the end of the day. And the last game I have up here, Lucky Jimmy broke his duck last week up against Champagne Fever, and Lucky Jimmy is also scheduled to beat Champagne Fever, 104 to 97. But sure, look, lads, guys are on bye. It's up to you, change your players, and we'll see what happens. Okay.
Time for the the cruise report.
The cruise report. Queeve, I'm actually going to lead you to the cruise report this week. I actually gave you I actually gave Queeve the ballers insider story there a while ago, so I'll leave Queeve break it for you, okay?
Yeah, apparently he injured himself on the wrap up party for season 1 of Ballers, and just as he was about to make his comeback. Yeah, it's an awful shame. An awful shame for Fox's Army, but I'm sure he'll find an ample replacement in no time. But yeah, make sure you take him out of your lineup anyway, Foxy. So right, that was the cruise report. Dun, dun, dun. Now we're going to go through each of the games from the weekend. Not in any detail, unless they were particularly interesting.
Yeah, well, just after the pick'em last week, how did we do? We were all pretty close.
We can, before we do this week's pick'em, I'll give the scores from last week.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to go through the weekend's games very quickly. Ravens won at the Steelers Thursday night in overtime, wasn't it? In overtime.
Yeah, courtesy of Michael Vick.
Yeah,
and Matt Scobie, the kicker as well.
Yeah, the kicker missed multiple chances to win the game, and not a very good game.
It ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. Like the kickers, Dan Carpenter missed a kick. Your man from the Saints missed a kick.
Hocker,
and the guy for the Jags missed a couple of kicks after getting iced by Pagano to win it.
And then missed again.
Sacrilege.
Kicking has been subpar so far.
The Browns got hit by a late kick, didn't they? So there was a lot of kickers were in the headlines big time. So it ain't no fun being a kicker.
All right, moving on. As we said, the Jets beat the Dolphins in Wembley Stadium. Not exactly. Dolphins didn't put up much of a show, and Jets marched to 3-1. So.
Yeah, and the score didn't even reflect how in control of the Jets were in the game.
Won by 30-40 points.
I was panicking. I got the big screen set up down in the bar in the lodge. Next thing I'm flicking through all the channels, and I where the bloody hell? But there was so much sport on last weekend. I mean, the rugby, there was soccer, whatever. But it was actually on BBC Two, so it was grand. Wembley looked well, and they're still going on with this. I think it's a fallacy at this stage. London are not going to get an NFL team.
Not in,
because like there's
soon,
32 teams there. How the numbers don't make it up. Obviously, the NFL they must be making big bucks out of coming it, but like it's not going to happen in the foreseeable future. But the London NFL guys and all the commentators, who are they kidding? Like, can they just face up to reality?
Same thing every year. They ask the same questions. And
I know, and they get like there's always like a pause from the Americans, and then they're going on and on about the time difference, and it'd be great for the fans. Look, it's not going to happen. Let's go.
All right, moving on. Bears beat the Raiders at home, thankfully, for my side bet with Mr. McCormick.
Yeah,
they threw that away. The Raiders threw that one away. They were leading pretty much. I think it was pretty much all through the game, and fell to a last-minute field goal. But two bad teams in a bad game, so I was happy enough with that one.
Yeah, I don't know. Amari Cooper had a great first half, over 100 yards and a touchdown, and the second half, I don't know what happened. I think there was Latavius Murray had a fumble, I think, didn't he? I think he was benched later on as well. It's still like the Raiders are still a work in progress. I think give them another year or two. They're going to be pretty low in the draft again, and they'll be picking up a couple of more.
Let's hope they'll be low in the draft anyway.
Yeah,
not in the middle somewhere.
No, I'd say that bet's safe. Decky kind of half through in the yellow towel, the white towel there.
Towel, yeah.
So why doesn't he just can he cash it in?
Cash out.
Cash out at this stage? I don't think so.
All right. Falcons beat the hapless Texans at home 48-21. 21 points got in garbage time. They were raced to a 45-0 lead. Freeman on fire again, and that was pretty much all she wrote for the Texans there.
Texans are pathetic. Like they got some late scores in garbage time. Arian Foster came back, but
that was about the only highlight.
Yeah, but he fumbled. And
he
did nothing. He's got. I have him. I'm probably going to put him into the flex at some stage. But I said I wasn't going to play him on the first week. Give him a week or two to kind of get you well. I suppose the thing is, Brian Hoare's got the job now. I think Mallet was benched, and the whole thing about that O'Brien was giving out at the start of the season on Hard Knocks about nobody gives any respect to their quarterbacks, and we know why. Yep. So he's sucking it up himself at this stage.
Yeah. All right. Bengals beat the Chiefs 36-21. Much against Chris's prediction. Bengals go marching to 4-0 and are looking pretty impressive doing so.
Yeah, I must say, all the time, Andy Dalton he's always done enough to win. But they have some awesome weapons at their disposal, and he does seem to be playing with confidence. I know once January comes, he seems to bottle it, but you can't knock him at the moment. So fair dues to him. Kansas City, yeah. They've some awesome players. Macklin should never have left Philadelphia.
I think KC will get a nice few wins together once they play some of the lesser teams. Of course they will.
Jamal Charles is
they've just said earlier they've a
Niall Davis.
Tough schedule.
Tough
opening schedule.
And
anyway.
Kelce is a quality tight end, as I sang his praises before as well.
Yeah. Right. Colts. Good grief. Beat Jaguars 16-13 in Indianapolis. This was a disease of a game, and less said about this one the better, I think.
Yeah, it was pretty error-strong. Matt Hasselbeck, the old Seahawks QB, was in for Andrew Luck. I didn't actually see much of the game at all. I was watching it like you were on Red Zone on Sunday night.
And there were more lowlights than highlights.
After the rugby, and it was just, I had no sound. I've watched one or two highlights there on YouTube afterwards. You can check out the NFL channel on YouTube. They've got little 2 or 3 segments of each game, which is quite good for catching up if you're so inclined.
Radio. An upset in my mind anyway. The Skins beating the Eagles at home 23-20. Went off to an early lead. Eagles come back to retake the lead, and Redskins get it done. towards the end with a couple of field goals. Yeah, upset, I thought.
It's an upset, but like it is no real big upset either, because the Eagles have been absolutely appalling. Like, and I know a lot of people are rubbing their hands in Gleno saying Chip Kelly is going to be fired. He's not going to be fired. He's he's a general manager as well. They're not going to fire him after giving him so much power. But at the same time, he probably needs to just scratch his head and say, look, maybe he's just trying to change too much too soon. He's got rid of so many good players, and they're all bad mouthing him now. And defense now, they're knackered. Like they're on the field all the time. They're exceeding. Apparently, I heard a stat there. Their whole thing about is that when they get on, they want to have quick plays. I think they had 52 offensive plays, and the Redskins had 79 plays. So the defense are just knackered, and we'll see what happens. I think they've got too much quality on the team. Well, we've heard this in football parlance before, like too much quality, and these guys get relegated. There's no relegation. Well, I suppose the only thing in American football, you get the draft early to fix your qualms next year, like, you know. But
there's an advantage to it.
Yeah. But like I suppose the Raiders, the Jags, and the Browns have had the monopoly there lately, and Tennessee for those early draft picks.
Right. Next, the Panthers went to 4-0 with a 37-23 victory in Tampa. Didn't see much of this one myself, but Panthers go marching on again against a very average.
Yeah, well, you know what, James Winston, I think he threw 3 picks, but I think he's a working project. He's obviously he's learning the game at the pro level. He showed great poise there once or twice, scrambling out, and he made a lovely little kind of a flea flicker thingy going forward. I think I think the Bucs franchise is in good hands there. Cam Newton is just leading the whole Panthers by the scruff of the neck. He's a force to be reckoned with, but at the same time, they've played nobody really yet. But they've had a very soft schedule. The only thing, I don't know what their score in their division is.
Well, their division is the worst, so
I suppose both AFC South and the NFC South are pretty horrendous. But they were quite fortunate. John Stewart coughed up the ball, and I think it wasn't Ginn. I think Ginn had two touchdowns.
Ginn had a good game.
Yeah, but there was I think it was the tight end or something just happened to was following up, and the ball just popped up in his hands. Nice one, touchdown. Right.
What I would consider to be probably the biggest upset of the weekend, the Giants going to Buffalo and winning 24-10. Buffalo been racking up points in their first 3 games and only managed 10 today, and couldn't seem to get anything going offensively.
This was unbelievable. I just couldn't believe what I was watching, you know. And we always slagged off the Giants, but the Giants, you know, they just got stuck in. All I can say about the Bills is when they're good, and when they're bad, they're fucking awful. But apparently they gave up something like 18 penalties.
Yeah, there was a lot of penalties.
There was a lot of penalties given away. I saw they got one score disallowed, brought back, and they just kept stabbing themselves. They kept killing their own drives, and they kept extending with penalties, and kept extending the Giants' drives.
Yeah,
and basically, Tyrod Taylor said had a good enough game, but Rex. I suppose Rex, he's a very arrogant guy as well. He's got a. They're not playing smart, and somebody was saying, that the Jets are now with basically the same roster as what was there, are playing a lot more smarter ball. They're not giving away as many penalties. Todd Bowles doing a great job. He's honing the talents nicely. Okay, he's got Darrell Revis in and Marshall in, which 2 players are making a big difference. But Rex just couldn't seem to get it done.
But fair play to the Giants all the same.
Fair play to the Giants. Yep.
Okay. Chargers beat the Browns at home 30-27. In the ding-dong battle, Browns stuck with them for a lot of the game, but just fell short in the end to the mighty Philip Rivers.
Yeah, he looked very sharp. But we'll move on.
Okay. Packers beat 49ers 17-3. That's all I'll say about that.
Very nondescript game.
Yeah, awful. Cardinals losing their undefeated record at home to the Rams, which again, huge upset. Cost my wallet quite a few shillings.
Yeah, this is a docket buster, right? And just like I said about the Bills a while ago, the Rams.
You just don't know which Rams.
You just don't know which Rams is going to turn up. They've won 2 games. They beat Seattle, and the nice victory there against Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are still going to be team to beat in the NFC West.
They just had a bad day at the office.
They did, yeah. Well, they got off to a bad start.
Couple of turnovers.
Turn over the ball
Yeah.
from the initial kickoff,
Yeah.
and the boys ran it in straight away. But at least they've got a good kicker.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. Right. Sunday. Sorry, not Sunday Night Football. Broncos beat the Vikings 23-20 at home. Vikings put in a good display. Just falling short again at the end to a late field goal, but promising for the Vikings. Broncos go 4-0 without really, being hugely impressive in my opinion.
No, Minnesota, Teddy Bridgewater is showing glimpses. Obviously, Adrian Peterson had another good game. He was pretty much contained for most of it, but then he just managed to break through there one stage, got through for about 40, 50-yard touchdown, didn't he?
Yes. Yep. That was a nice break he made right through the middle of the D line. So that put them 20 each, but unfortunately they left enough time on the clock for Peyton to run his 2-minute drill, and he killed the clock nicely and finished it off with the field goal, the nice close field goal. So, and then on to Sunday Night Football, the Saints beat the Cowboys at home 26-20 in overtime. I didn't see this game at all.
I didn't either. Yeah, we'll just go on.
Moving on.
On to the Monday night game.
And I didn't see this either. And
I
by the looks of it, thank God.
I tried to stay awake for it.
Some of us have to work.
I had a nightmare. I fell asleep. Then I woke up fourth quarter, and I couldn't get. I was trying to get a stream on it. My Sky Go isn't working with Windows 10, which is another bloody nightmare. So I went downstairs to the bar, put it on, and couldn't believe my eyes. Like, the Lions were marching down the field, and it looked like they were going to win. And Cam Chancellor made one of the plays of the year against Calvin Johnson, a yard from the line, punched the ball out of his grasp, and that was it. Game over. So hopefully Seahawks can maybe, this is their kind of rallying point. Marshawn Lynch was nowhere to be seen. Your man Rawls
didn't do a whole lot.
Freddie
I thought I was being very clever bringing him
Freddie Jackson got injured, so they need a running back.
All right, we're up to 28 minutes. We got to run through these this week's pick'ems, last week's score. 15 games. I had 8, and Michael had 7.
Ouch.
So 1
Okay,
point. We only differed in 3 games, and I got 2 right, and he got 1 right. So, right. Starting off with this week's matchup, Cindy go to Houston Thursday night. There's no spread up on the bookies because Andrew Luck hasn't been confirmed to play, but I think by all accounts, he is going to play. So,
Colts.
For me, it's Colts all the way, right? Bills at Tennessee. Get Tennessee plus 2.5. It's Bills for me minus 2.5.
I'm gonna take Tennessee.
All right, Tennessee plus the points.
Yeah,
I think the Bills come back from that poor performance at the weekend against the Giants, and
well, don't forget Tennessee would be coming off by Mariota's been very impressive so far, so hopefully he can build on that as well.
All right, okay. Bears at Chiefs. Chiefs minus 9. I've taken the Chiefs minus 9.
I'm going to take the Bears because I can't see the Chiefs or the Chiefs putting up a huge score unless they get like 15 penalties or something.
Right, Jags at Bucks. Bucks minus 3. I've taken the Jags plus 3.
I'm gonna go with the Bucks this time.
Okay.
As I said, Jameis Winston is impressing me, and he's got some good weapons. Just a matter of utilizing them.
Okie doke.
Keeping the mistakes, the interceptions killed him last week.
Browns at Ravens. Ravens minus 6.5. This was a tough one. I took the Ravens minus the points. I'd say they'd be G'd up after their first win. Very lucky win last week.
The Browns are
And the Browns
are the Browns. I'll go with the Ravens as well.
Yeah, they're just no good. Okay, Saints at the Eagles. Eagles minus 4.5. I've taken the Eagles for a home field advantage, and for that reason only, because they're both just not very good at the moment.
Yeah, Bradford, as I said last week, is playing rubbish. And I think Sanchez is going to get a call in at some stage there. Or Chip Kelly is a very arrogant guy as well, I suppose, isn't he? When he does things his own way, he doesn't like being told what to do. You've gone.
I've gone Eagles minus 4.
Eagles
4.5. Yeah.
Eagles.
Okay. Again, this is one that doesn't have a spread up. I'd say there won't be much in it anyway. It is the matchup of the weekend. The Seahawks at the Bengals. And with no handicap, I'm taking the Bengals.
I have to go for the Seahawks there.
Okay. Any reason why?
Because they're my team.
Well, I'm going for the Bengals because they're playing far superior football to the Seahawks.
Yeah, but is it a Sunday night game? Is it on prime
No,
time?
no. Well, no, it's not on prime time. I don't think it'll surely be one of the Sky Live games. So I mean, it stands out like a sore thumb. Right, the Rams. Still can't say it without thinking about that money they cost me. But anyway, Rams go to Green Bay, hopefully to get a fucking pasting after they cost me money last week. The spread is 9. I'm taking Green Bay minus 9. Absolutely.
Interesting. I'm going to go to Rams here. Like, they've got a very, very good defense. That's usually their strength. We've seen if Todd Gurley can build on his performance last week. And Nick Foles seems to be...
Lambeau is where good defenses go to die.
Yeah, tell that. Yeah. Well, it
is though.
Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, sure.
Historically.
But what's the spread? 8.5 points? 9 points. I'll take,
You'll take the Rams plus 9, okay.
Yeah.
The Skins go to Atlanta, the undefeated Falcons. Falcons minus 7. This was a tough one as well, but considering the Falcons did a 45-pointer at the weekend, the Skins seem to be better at home than on the road. Taking the Falcons minus 7.
Yeah, same here.
Okay. Cards go to the Lions, the winless Lions. It can get 3 points.
The hapless Lions.
Well, yeah, they kept the Seahawks honest last night, and I think that they're better than 0-4. And Cardinals let me down at the weekend, so I'm taking the Lions plus 3.
I'll take the Cardinals.
Okay. Now we got the Broncos at the Raiders. You can get the Raiders plus 5 at home, and I've taken Denver minus 5.
Denver.
Radio. My boys, the Pats, after their bye week, head to Brandon Whedon country down there in Dallas. Pats minus 8.
Everything falls into place.
Pats minus 8.
How can you bet against them?
No, it's a shoe in. Yeah.
Dallas they've been decimated.
Dallas are going to lose every game till Tony Romo comes back.
Plus their injuries. Your man's at the line. Yes, Sean Lee's at the line.
Sean Lee's out. Yeah. They got 2 guys coming back from suspension, but yeah. Pats all the way there. Niners at the Giants. Giants are minus 7, which seems quite a lot. I took the Giants minus 7 just because the Niners can't score points.
Yeah, I think Kaepernick is probably one of the players he's just been on a downward spiral
regressed the most, I think.
Since they got beaten by the Giants, wasn't it? In the Super Bowl a couple of years ago.
No, it wasn't the Giants. Giants only beat the Patriots in Super Bowls.
Who beat? Oh, sorry, the
It
Ravens.
was Baltimore,
the
yeah,
Ravens,
it was Baltimore, yeah. All right, we both taking the Giants.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Last. Steelers go to San Diego. Steelers similar to the Cowboys. They're not as bad as the Cowboys, but without Big Ben, I can't see them winning too many games till he gets back. San Diego at home tend to get it done, albeit by 3 points against the Browns last week. But I think San Diego -3 is what I'm taking here.
Same. So we've pretty much gone for.
We went for 6 different picks this week,
Okay. Yeah.
which is good.
Okay.
We only had 3 different last week.
All right. So do we?
Pretty much
All right, boys. So just
covers
keep
all our topics.
again. Just sorry that we don't have any visual. Well, you can look at our lovely photograph there. You can drool over that. And
I'd say they'd be better off just listening to the audio.
yeah. All right. So boys, thank you and good night.